that sound fine?
What's the boogeyman?
Welcome back to the Moonjuice Metal Horror Podcast, the podcast where we live and breathe heavy metal and horror, but I'm afraid to shit on both of them. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
Yeah.
As a surprise to everyone, we actually have a guest that is a great dude. We didn't really plan on it, but he's visiting Mike, and he's also a horror fanatic. So everybody say hi to Bruno.
Hi.
If you're worried about a weird accent or anything like that, it's okay. You're not high. He's French.
Thanks, man.
You had to put that one in there.
You also understand American, you know?
Yes.
So, Bruno, we all know each other because, like we've said on the podcast multiple times, we were all members of Castle Frankenstein Halloween for a good many years. I think Mike is on his 10th year. I'm on my 9th. And Bruno,
I'm on my 11th year.
11. That's right. You just did 10. This is 11.
Yeah.
Okay. How many years did you do, Bruno?
Altogether, you'll start in oh God, I'm old. 2006, I started. And with a few breaks, it should be something about altogether 18 years, I guess. 17
Holy
18
shit.
years.
Okay.
Yeah. Many mistakes. I'm not that old.
No. Well, I mean, there's no getting around it, dude. We're all old as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, to the generation of people maybe like watching this, horror fans, I'm imagining, probably in 30s, maybe early 40s. So we're old, dude. It's okay. Just wear it like a badge of honor. You made it this far. You know what I'm saying?
So is your podcast about where we have tagging bones and everything, or?
Sure. Tell everybody. I mean, we could go over all of our weak spots. I get every joint in my body's fucked. So
Okay, I didn't know that the plot of this episode may need being checked.
Well, so that's the thing. When you do this every year and you're constantly chasing people and running around. So Bruno is a zombie and has been for the longest. As long as I've known you, you've been a zombie, right? Yeah. Mike as well. These guys, if you were around for that era, they grab you, drag you down in the mud, chase you. I mean, it's a full fucking body workout, dude. You guys probably did more work than any of us did. Because at the end of the night, you either had something broken, or you were in so much pain you could barely stand, or the next day you were an extra stiff zombie the next day because, dude, you just...
Yeah. I mean, the last day on Sundays, neither me, Bruno actually had to play. We were actually walking that way because.
Yeah, well, I still need to be between the early 20s, but just right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, after day like 5, the zombie shamble is no longer an act, right?
Yeah, but it takes a new generation to break bones.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the movie that we are doing, Bruno has not seen. So thankfully, he is a fan of the rest of the movies. This would be movie number 6 of this entire series. And you have to know about the other ones to really understand the new entries in terms of like how things go down, why it goes down, all that kind of stuff. So we're not telling him anything that he probably doesn't already know. You can guess how these movies go. And especially this one. This is a movie that is part of a series that we've already done 3 on. It's my favorite series of movies, horror movies in general. 2. We've only done 2. We haven't done 3. That's right. We've only done 2.
Yeah.
We got one more to do with Nem, don't we?
Yes, exactly. Because Nem wanted to do the original 3 with us.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So we have one more of those to do with Nem. And then I guess we'll continue into this trilogy. Although we're doing this one out of chronological order, but that's okay. I'm sure everybody will forgive us.
I mean,
this movie, out of all of them that have been done so far, including the original trilogy, I would say is probably the most brutal of all of them. Maybe not in terms of gore, but just brutality. Right? What do you think about
Yes.
The remake should have been one of the most brutal movies. Or something like that.
Yeah, this one, when we say brutal from a gore level perspective, or how much blood you see, I wouldn't say it's more brutal than the others.
No.
It's just exactly what and who gets killed.
And
This one, maybe use the word mean. I'd say this one's mean. This one's meaner than the other ones.
That might fit it better. That word,
Specifically for me, and I know not everybody feels this way, right? But this one feels extra mean to me because this is the first one where there is also a dog death, right?
Yeah.
And it is particularly brutal how that happens. And so for me, that just automatically makes it meaner than all the rest of them. But if you remove that kill from the movie, it's still the meanest entry in all of this.
But even that they killed the dog like 3 times.
Yeah, I know.
In the movie.
Yeah.
I would see.
I mean, you can probably figure it out as to how and why, right? But this dog can't catch a break, dude. That's what kills me. He can't catch a break throughout the entire fucking film. Not only did we have to see it once, we got to see it 3 times.
Yeah.
So trigger warning for anybody who has a thing for dog deaths. Chrissy did not come see the movie with us this time, specifically for that reason. And just like we've kind of said before, if you are one of those people who can't stand shit like that, like I can't, there is a website called Does the Dog Die? You can put in the name of the movie and it'll tell you if a dog dies in the film. That way you know if you're going to go see it or not. Yeah, that's the thing, Bruno.
Just give me more reasons to do the movie, please. Give me more reasons. Dog dies. We tell what forties here, I never saw a dog dying, except by Stephen King. A dog dying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my answer to that though, is fucking kill all the people you want, dude. People fucking suck, right? But if you're killing a dog in a movie, then in my opinion, like you ran out of options. This could have been done a different way. Because it happens, we do get something cool. So that's fine and kind of sort of makes up for it. But at the same time, I didn't need to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could have happened off screen and I would have been fine with it. But the way that they do it is particularly fucking brutal and mean. So that was a choice. But whatever. The other deaths in this film, it's tough to say, dude. I feel like all the other movies kind of spent some time explaining the characters a little bit to where you got to know them a little bit before they turned them into whatever they turned into. But this one doesn't really spend a whole lot of time on character development. But that's, I mean, it's not like a huge gripe. I just noticed it. It's very thin on character development. But that doesn't affect the entire film in a bad way. I mean, it is still a film from the series and it works, right? I think we've tap danced around it enough. What movie are we doing, Mike?
Evil Dead Burn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the newest. It's a good movie. Just I would say it's definitely different from the others.
Yeah.
And to me, what I could say, it did not really feel that much like an Evil Dead. That I have to say.
I can agree with you on that. Yeah. Yeah.
On the way.
It kind of felt more like Pet Cemetery than Evil Dead.
Oh,
overall, from the overall entire feeling, that's more or less what I would have said. Not to the point that I would say this is not an Evil Dead movie. I heard there are a lot of people online that are saying that. It's just the overall vibe. It's even the remake. I haven't seen Evil Dead Rise either, but I saw the remake. It was clearly from the tone and vibe different than the original 3, but it had the typical Evil Dead vibe to it. You know, these evil forces coming where it's never fully clear what these evil forces are.
Yep.
And that's also that back to the silliness of it. That was all there to a certain degree. This
Yeah.
movie, it's like straight up from the begin with, you kind of have the feeling what this thing is. It's satanic, demonic. It even hints towards a certain entity that's causing all of these things to happen, up until the point where they come into the house where the shit basically goes down. It just, I would say, from the vibe, feels more like a clear, defined entity, like in Pet Cemetery, than actually like Evil Dead. That's
Yeah.
I would say the worst thing I could say.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, that's to see, just on my own advice.
I mean, it is a good movie. I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
it's a good movie, and I would not go as far as other people to say, "Oh, this is not Evil Dead." I think that's a little bit exaggerated.
People were saying the same from the remake. Like,
Yeah.
guess what? Evil Dead, just a new version.
Yes, yeah, but you have that kind of crowd always when they do something else. But even if you take like the original three, the silliness didn't come into the second part. But
Right.
even the vibe of the first one, not even when they read the Necronomicon or whatever, I mean, even though what the Evil Dead series did well, in my opinion, was even though you basically knew what kind of evil forces we were dealing with, the movie overall still gave you the feeling like it's this cosmic unknown entity. Things happening in the happening in the background. That is what I think Evil Dead did perfectly. Like, I'm like not having a mystery, but still giving you the feeling as if it is a mystery.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
Yeah.
The new series of films, everybody refers to the 2013 movie as the remake, which, to be fair, that's exactly what they marketed it as, and that's what everybody thought when it came out, right? Whether that was the original idea or not is kind of shrouded in mystery. Nobody knows, but it turned out not to be a remake. So what happened is there are 3 books, right? And the 2013 movie didn't expand on that. It was kind of like, okay, we're telling the Evil Dead story again, but a different way, right? It wasn't until Evil Dead Rise came out that everybody was like, oh shit, okay, so that story works along with this story, and there's more than one book, because the book from 2013 is mentioned in Evil Dead Rise. And so then we got kind of a lore explanation, right? So people were really interested in that. I think that was probably the thing that happened in Evil Dead Rise that everybody wanted to know more about. And it was really smart that they did that. And so what they did was they called back to Army of Darkness when Ash has to go retrieve the book, and there's 3 books, right? If you remember Army of Darkness, there's 3 books on a pedestal, and he has to choose one and take it back. So there's 3 different books. They have 3 different names, and they have 3 different evil forces attached to them. And that's kind of what the second film talks about. The second film also alludes to the fact that there is a whole group of people who have studied these books throughout the centuries and tried to understand the magic behind it, tried to understand how to stop the Deadites, but doesn't really go into detail, right? It just kind of puts that out there, and that's what got everybody enthralled. This movie, if you want to look at it as kind of the building blocks of a story, this one explains more about what you saw in Evil Dead Rise and why things are happening the way that they happen. So this movie, interestingly enough, does not contain a Necronomicon, which is weird, right? This would be the first one. The first one of the series that does not contain a Necronomicon. It's referenced that the Necronomicon that specifically deals with this film is the one from 2013. So that Necronomicon is influencing what's going on in this film, because that is the book that the grandfather of this family got and studied, right? And so this is where the daggers come in. You remember the daggers from Evil Dead 1 and 2. I don't think it made an appearance in Army of Darkness, right? It didn't. But there's daggers that are attached to the whole mythology. There was a dagger in part 1 and 2, was the same dagger. There's a dagger in Ash vs. Evil Dead. That is another dagger that belongs to one of the books, probably the book from Rise. And then in this movie, there are a bunch of daggers because the daggers were collected by the grandfather throughout, I don't know, however many years of his studies of these books, right? But each one of these daggers can affect the Deadites that come from that specific Necronomicon. So if you stab a Deadite with a dagger that doesn't belong to the book that they came from, it doesn't do shit to them. Nothing. So whatever book these Deadites came from, that dagger is the only one that can kill them. It has to come from that book. So this kind of expands the lore a little bit to where it's understandable. And that's what really makes me interested about what's going to happen in the next film, because it's already been announced and it takes place before the original Evil Dead film by like 10 years. So that's going to be Evil Dead Wrath, I think. Wrath.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's called Evil Dead Wrath. But no idea what's going to happen in that film. But this film sets that one up. And that's what we're told, right? So in terms of like lore, which is what I'm kind of big on, but Mike is bigger on, that's what this movie is full of. It's full of lore. It's full of trying to build a world out of this whole thing instead of just having isolated incidents that have happened, like in 2013 and Evil Dead Rise. So it's cool. I like seeing the story go in this direction because everybody just wants to know more, you know?
I just have a question related to the lore. Is it related in any kind of way to Ash versus the Lady in the Evil Dead from 2015? Or none of those?
I didn't hear his question, Mike.
Well, Bruno asked if this movie is related to Ash versus the Evil Dead.
So yes, kind of. So yeah, it's weird how it works. So in Ash versus Evil Dead, of course, the book that is attached to that story is the original one from the first three Evil Dead movies, right? And that movie or the series has a dagger in it, right? And that dagger belongs to one of these Necronomicons that are from these other two stories. Which one we don't know, but the dagger that Lucy has in that series belongs to one of these Necronomicons.
But so far, when it comes to movies and series, have we only seen two Necronomicons, right? Not the third one.
So no, we've seen all three. So the first one was the Ash one that was for the first three Evil Dead movies in the series.
Yeah.
The second one was the one in 2013, which is kind of a leather-bound book that has almost like Frankenstein staples and sewing in it. And then Evil Dead Rise has a book that's found in the bank underneath everything, and it has teeth that keep it closed. So there's three different books that we've now been shown. This movie doesn't contain a book because the book that was studied by the grandfather is the one from 2013, even though we never see it.
Okay, so basically, we haven't seen any Deadites coming from the teeth book.
Well, we did. The ones that came from the teeth book are all the ones in Evil Dead Rise, right?
Okay.
So the thing about this movie is it's tough to follow, but the Deadite that you see at the beginning of this movie and the evil that consumes everyone is not from the book from 2013. It's a continuation of Rise, right? So at the end of Rise, the end of Rise happens at the beginning of the movie, right? Of Rise.
Yeah.
So it shows you the ending first, and then you go back and you get a flashback throughout the movie of what led up to that. The girl, the female Deadite that killed her friend at the cabin, and you see at the opening crawl of Rise out on the river, is the one that starts all this shit in this movie because she's still at the lake, right?
Yeah.
So that's why in the movie, when the main protagonist tries to stab a Deadite with the original dagger, it doesn't work because she's the evil, and this is not from the 2013 book. It's from the Evil Dead Rise book. So that dagger that we see him get stabbed with is the one that goes together with that book that was found in the bank vault in Evil Dead Rise. So it's really like one of those things that it's confusing if you don't know what you're looking at. Like, I would not want to be a new Evil Dead fan and watch 2013 and then Rise and this one and try to figure out what the fuck is going on. Because if you look at these as standalone films, you're extremely confused, which anybody would be, right? Because a lot happens and there's no explanation. So if you haven't seen the original trilogy, then you don't really have a frame of reference, right? But I mean, Mike, that's what we're here for. We're gonna explain it all to everybody ad nauseum, right?
Yeah.
The cool thing I really like, though, is that this is the first one that actually builds on the last one. So 2013 happened and ended, and you don't hear anything else about that story. Evil Dead Rise starts, ends, and you think that's the end of that story. This one opens up right at the end of Evil Dead Rise, and it's a continuation of that story. So finally, there's no standalone movies anymore, which is cool.
Yeah.
The characters are an odd pick, I thought.
Yeah.
What is there to say about these people, dude? It's kind of a tragic story. But at the same time, I don't know, like, because the character development is lacking a little bit, you're not really that interested in the characters. And I think that's what bugs me the most.
It basically, the thing is, what you can say is definitely the character development, because this movie, it basically introduces the characters really fast.
Yeah.
And then they all get together because they're all mourning family member. And then, one of them starts to become Deadites, starts to go nuts, and then just one gets slaughtered after the nuts.
Yeah.
Now
it's Evil Dead.
Yeah, of course, that's Evil Dead, obviously.
Evil Dead, yeah.
I still have to admit, I don't remember the names of any of the characters. Yeah, I have them in front of me too, because we still have to do the ritual of name butchery.
The ritual of name butchery. So we might as well do that real quick.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. So let's get into the ritual of name butchery.
This is getting low, Mike. So maybe you can. Let's see how much you kill me this time.
Yeah. Right. Okay. We have Hunter Doohan, who plays Joseph. This is the guy that played that other evil character on Wednesday.
What was the fucking monster called?
I don't.
The Hide.
The Hide. Okay, good. Yeah. Then we have Luciana Buchanan that plays Thea. I think I definitely butchered that one.
Yeah, you did. I was thinking about it. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then we have. So cheers, yeah. Matt has to drink again. Every time I mispronounce a name, Matt has to drink. Okay. Then we have Stulhelia Yakub. Huh?
Well, that's definitely fucked up.
Yeah, that one too, definitely. No.
Cheers.
Cheers. We have Tandy Wright, who plays Susan. No, but could also just be named Karen. No.
Yeah.
We have George Pular, who plays Will. Errol Shand, who plays Edgar. Mods Davey plays Polly. And Alan Shabbat plays some character that's not written down here, and I don't really care about. No?
Okay.
The movie was directed by Sebastian Van Gogh.
Yep.
I think I pronounced that correctly. Also
Van
Gogh. Yeah. Okay. So Bruno just told me I mispronounced it, Matt.
All right.
And now hold up. We're going to hold up.
So. Okay.
Well, it's fitting that Bruno is here because the main actor and character is French. Yeah, the protagonist. You should be very happy, Bruno. The first final girl of an Evil Dead movie is actually a French citizen. She's French, and the actress is French. The actress's name is Suela Jacob.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, Alice Price, which is not a very French name, but she's supposed to be French. Yeah. Anyway, good final girl, right? I actually like this chick.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's cool. Like, I think Mia from 2013 was really good. I didn't really like the final girl from Rise too much, but this one I like. She's tough chick, and she's also in the middle of mourning during this entire thing as well, which makes her kind of extra badass.
Mhm.
But yeah, great actor, good pick. I had no problem with the actors. The actors did a great fucking job. So kudos on that. I will also say that I agree with most of the internet, which I rarely do, but the actor who plays the father should be the next Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
Yeah, that's cool. That that would definitely be a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny
Yeah.
because they just announced the new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. That's going to be a remake of the first movie, and they're still searching for a Freddy actor. And then everybody jumped on that guy. They were like, "This fucking guy right here is perfect." So I'm interested to see if he gets cast. Would be cool because he's a good actor. Like he did his parts really well, and he's also very animated, which is what you need for Freddy Krueger. So I hope that happens. Make it happen, internet. Anyway, yeah. So main characters, we kind of said the actors. We got Alice Price, who's the French wife and the primary survivor. Joseph Price, which is Will's younger brother.
Yeah.
Thaya, which is Joseph's girlfriend. This chick acts her fucking ass off in this film. She was great. Her character didn't last long enough. I wish she had because she's great. But I have a favorite character in the movie, Mike. Can you guess who that is?
Your favorite character? Can I guess who it is?
Yeah.
The grandma.
Yes. It's definitely the grandma. She's demented as fuck, dude. She is demented as fuck. And she's also the comic relief in this film. Like every time she opens her mouth, she says something funny.
Yeah, something stupid, something insanely racist as well, dude.
It is totally racist, but I can relate, right? Because when people get like this, they tend to remember bad things from their past, and then for whatever reason tend to enact that when they have dementia. And in this case, she had probably a Hispanic woman steal something from her in her past, and so she keeps mistaking the wife of the main male character as the woman who stole something from her in her past, and she keeps bringing it up, and it's fucking hilarious every time she does it. Joseph is the main male character's name, and the film kind of starts out with Joseph examining documents and records left by his grandfather. His grandfather's name is Benjamin. That name doesn't ring any bells because we have no context for this guy. We just know his name is Benjamin, and he studies the Necronomicons and the Deadites, and he's part of a group of people who call themselves the Wise Men, who have been tracking these things for history, right? So he studied the Necronomicon, recorded information about people who summoned Deadites in the past, and read its incantations. Joseph's research establishes that his grandfather's occult work is going to be central to what happens to the Price family. So everything that's happening to this family right now is happening because of what the grandfather did, right? The family already kind of possesses the Book of the Dead, although we don't see it. So it is somewhere, probably not in the house, but it is somewhere here. We just never see it. And he also, of course, no Evil Dead film would be complete without a recording on a really old tape recorder that someone just decides to play, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we get at the opening of this film. It opens up, you hear Benjamin's name as he's talking over a tape recorder, and of course he recites everything in the book. It's like always happens. My question is, why does this happen in every fucking film? Like, there should be something. It says in the books, if you read these passages, it will unleash spirits, and then everybody just does it, right? So he plays the recording of his grandfather. Of course, that lets the spirits out. That's what starts this entire thing. Once we get that opening crawl, we go back to the lake that we saw at the end of Evil Dead Rise, right?
Yeah.
We know it's the same lake because there's two guys fishing on the dock where the beginning of the last movie took place, right?
Yeah.
Two buddies fishing. One of them casts a line out, and he feels like he's got a fish, and it's tugging back, so he starts reeling it in. And when he gets it up, it's a human head of a female that has been scalped. And if you saw the last movie, you know that that is the head of the girl that was friends with the Deadite that we're about to see, right?
Yeah.
When that happens, he drops the rod in the water out of shock and kind of backs up, and then two hooks come back from the same fishing rod and stick in his face, right? So now he's got fishing hook stuck in his face, and the line starts wrapping around his body, and he's drug into the water, right? Fucking cool opening. Gotta hand special effects here, dude. Like, the special effects here are awesome for the most part. At least up until the end, but we'll get to that. So he gets pulled in the water. His friend notices that he is out in the water screaming. So he hops in a boat, like the boat that they came in, and goes out to try to save him. As he's trying to save him, he pulls him up out of the water, and he knows his face is completely mangled and covered in fishing line, and they're cutting into his skin. He goes beneath the water again, and his buddy pulls him back out. This time when he pulls him out, his face is completely fucked up. The dude's already dead. And then he lays back in the boat with his buddy's body on top of him. It's a cool scene because you think he's at least got the body out of the lake, but then the camera kind of pulls back, and you realize it's only half the guy's body. So whatever's in the water just fucking decimated this guy, right? This guy, his friend, realizes that his buddy's dead and is kind of sitting in the boat freaking out. And at this exact same time, that's when we get the girl from the beginning of Evil Dead Rise, the Deadite, rising back out of the water and staring him in the face, right? She flips the boat. He goes into the water, and the boat sinks, and he's sitting there staring at the Deadite who's floating above the water. And then she does this thing with her hands like this, and the water starts to boil. So she's boiling this entire lake. These Deadites throughout these films tend to get more and more OP the further along we get. Like, the ones in 2013 were a little bit more OP than the ones in the original trilogy. The ones in Rise were more OP than that. And now these here are just fucking superhuman, Mike.
Yeah.
They're superhuman, which makes me wonder if that's like an oversight, or if
I don't know. I mean,
it has different strength Deadites. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, according to the lore, they expanded this specifically. They have like these 3 different Necronomicons. So you could say that would explain the difference in power between the different Deadites. If their power originates from a different Necronomicon, that could mean that also each of these Deadites originate from a separate evil entity. Considering the fact that these evil entities might differ in strength, that also could carry over to the Deadites created from these Necronomicons. Considering the fact that the source is either more powerful or weaker, but that is also not clarified. I would say it would have to be in lore defined the strengths of these different Necronomicons, Necronomicons, the 3 different versions, because that's also something that's not really clarified. We just know now that there are 3 Necronomicons.
Yeah.
And I would have to continue watching Ash vs. the Evil Dead. I think I stopped watching sometime in season 2.
Yeah.
So I might not be aware of the 3rd Necronomicon.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of like, that's something I hope that the next movie explores more.
Yeah.
And
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. So Bruno asked earlier if this movie was related to Ash versus Evil Dead in any way, and I said yes because of the dagger. I forgot something. So the house that this takes place in, and we're not sure how this like matches up with Ash versus Evil Dead, but the house that this takes place in is the same house that Ruby lives in Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
So it is the exact same house. So, and we don't know why that is. I'm hoping they explain that later. But as of right now, it's completely unclear. But it is the same house that Ruby lived in. I would assume it's because she felt the presence of the other book there and moved there. I would assume. Right? But we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next film will explain that. But yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. I think that's a good explanation. I think each book is attached to a specific entity.
Yeah.
And we saw the entity from 2013 get killed with that book. In Ash versus Evil Dead, we see the entity from Ash's book get killed at the end of that series. So each entity could have a different strength. That makes sense. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, so she makes the lake boil while this guy is in it, right? And it's boiling, dude. Like it's his skin is starting to melt off. He's dying. So he dies in the water. She grabs him by the arm and drags him up onto the grass outside of the lake, and accidentally steps on his hand. And when she steps on his hand, the skin just kind of peels off his arm. So he's cooked, like cooked.
Yeah.
And for right now, that's the last scene you see with her. What were you going to say?
It's not necessarily only the skin, it's the meat, the meat, everything, the flesh. It just pulls off.
Yeah,
as if burnt meat.
Yeah, like a
because-
fucking cooked chicken, dude.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool effect. I will add too. Most of the effects you see in this film are legit effects, so they're not CGI, which is great. Like they did the best they could to do everything practical until the end, which everybody wants to complain about the end, but at the same time, I don't really see how you would have done that without CGI. So, I mean, it is what it is, dude. But yeah, everything that you see, including the skin peeling off his hand, everything's a practical effect. So we cut forward, and Joseph is having his birthday, right? And so this part of the film turned me off immediately, Mike, and I think it did you too. We both made the same sigh in the movie theater. We were like, because it's at a fucking hip hop club, and you got hip hop just blaring in your fucking ears for this entire scene.
And that's always a big bummer for me because I hate hip hop.
Yeah. Well, I get
of-
why they do this at the beginning of the film. Like, I don't like it, and I hate it when they do this, but at the same time, I can understand it because that's where the world is. Like, people go to clubs, and it's hip-hop music playing, dude. So if you're going to take people to a club, obviously they're not going to be playing heavy metal, you know? Because then you're not going to be able to hear what the people are saying. So it's got to be hip-hop.
Yeah, but you can't in hip-hop clubs either. Because specifically hip-hop clubs, the music is way louder than it is in any metal club. Dude.
I wouldn't know because I don't go to hip-hop clubs.
Yeah, I mean, how should I say it? I mean, I grew up in an area, I was like the only one listening to rock music and heavy metal. All my friends listened to techno and to hip-hop and that kind of stuff. And from my experience, in those clubs, you can't even talk to anybody. I mean, it's like literally hip-hop and techno clubs, the music is so fucking loud. It's way above any metal club I've ever been to. I mean, you see, when I go to metal clubs, or gothic clubs, you know, I can at least off the dance floor, at least talk to people. But when it comes to hip hop clubs, you have the same volume you do at a live concert. When you're straight in front of the stage, and the show is playing, that's the same volume you have in the hip hop.
Well, I'm glad I don't go to hip hop clubs then. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like my own personal version of hell, dude.
It is.
Yeah. And the bad thing about it too is like the opening of this film, when you realize you're in a hip hop club, the shit is so fucking loud, and it's not like you hear it for a little while and then they cut it off. No, you've got a good 30 seconds or longer where you have to listen to this shit. And I was like, that's a choice that I would not have made for this film at all. Like, okay, show us they're in a hip hop club, but don't make us listen to the fucking music for 30 seconds. Anyway, so Joseph is there celebrating his birthday with Thea, which is his wife, and then Will, which is his brother, and Alice, right, which is the main protagonist. So Will, who is Joseph's brother, gives him a fountain pen, right, as a gift, because he's a writer. And dude, I do not like Will. Will is an asshole. So he gives
fucking asshole, man.
Yeah, he's an asshole. He gives his brother this pen, and his brother's like, "Oh, thank you. I know this pen. These pens are like $2,000 a piece." He's like, "Yeah, but you deserve it, and maybe it'll get your ass in gear and get you finished writing your book, because this guy's a writer supposedly, but hasn't written anything. And so it's kind of an insult at the same time. Like, it's just, I don't know. His brother's a dick.
Yeah, just an asshole. Yeah.
This pen comes back later, I might add, in the movie, if you'll remember. So Will then criticizes Alice for smoking. Alice is his wife. She's also the main protagonist of this film. She's smoking, and he says something like, "Oh, if we're trying to get pregnant, that doesn't help." And he blames her for his own abusive behavior and becomes verbally and physically aggressive, like in the parking lot in front of everybody. Like, I fucking hate guys like this. And there's so many of them, dude. They're the ones that they get upset with their girlfriend or their wives and then take it out on them verbally and physically and then blame the partner for their bad behavior. That's what this guy is.
Yeah. Very toxic guy. You can say that, definitely.
Yeah.
Very toxic personality.
Yeah. And they're out in the parking lot, and he gets mad at her for smoking, and then he punches the car because he's had a little bit to drink, and then immediately he's like, "You see what you made me do? You do this to me. No other girlfriend I've ever had has made me this angry and made me do these things." Yeah, fucking right, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's like every abusive person says exactly that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have somebody that abuses their partners, that's what they always say. You made me do this. You bring this out in me. He says, no, you're just a complete fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You're a scumbag. It's not.
I'm not responsible for your fucking behavior.
No, the girl. I mean, the girl didn't do anything wrong. She was she just said something that he didn't like, and the guy's just a fucking dick.
He's an
asshole. I don't. And yeah, this is also not necessarily that. I mean, he gets in the car, and his brother says, "Here, give me the key. I'll drive you home," because it's obviously wasted. And this is also something a lot of people say when they have this behavior when they're drunk. I've seen this often. People act like this way drunk, and they say like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I get that way when I'm drunk," and blah. No. Being drunk or being wasted does not excuse in general this type of behavior. Alcohol does not make you do things you don't want to do. Alcohol does not change your personality. The only thing alcohol does is it takes away your hesitation. If you start acting a specific way, or if you're more angry or whatever, under the influence of alcohol, that is something that is already there. What you can say is that somebody under the influence of alcohol shows their true color.
Yeah.
No?
Right.
And even if it comes to other people, like they cheat on their partners when they're drunk or whatever, or that kind of a thing. No, I mean, of course, you can say, drinking alcohol takes away your hesitation, and that somebody under the influence of alcohol might cheat because it takes away hesitation. To the point, you didn't have to drink alcohol.
Exactly. You would have done that anyway.
Yeah.
Alcohol just made it easier for you.
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily. I mean, if you consider you cannot control yourself under the influence of alcohol. I mean, that's fine because that is just simply the effect that alcohol has.
Yeah.
But if you know that, you still can just choose to not drink alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we all know what we're speaking about.
Yes, we all know what we're speaking about, both me, Bruno, and Matt, because we all do insanely stupid shit when we're drunk.
Yeah, I seem to remember Castle Frankenstein being so egregiously drunk that Mike had to take me around looking for my suitcase, and I think I was almost crying, right? Because I can't find my fucking suitcase.
Yeah, someone wants to be played and could not.
Oh yeah. That also happened.
What happened?
We were partying until like 10 in the morning. After Halloween, and I was so wasted. I got up around 11 o'clock, and I was still fucking hammered, and I wanted to start getting ready to play. And they said, "No, Mike, go back to bed." I was forcefully put back into bed by everyone.
Yeah. And this was like Children's Sunday as well, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Hey man, like as long as you didn't hurt anybody or do anything stupid, it's fine. Like normal drunken behavior that you can laugh about later is one thing, but then like abusing
Yeah.
people is something a little bit different.
Yeah, that's something different. Yeah. That's basically we derailed for a little bit, but that what it comes down to. This is just a complete fucking scumbag, you know, that gets drunk and then blames all the the shit he does on his wife, even though his wife is done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
And then
it establishes that her later lack of visible grief when this guy dies is not indifferent without context. So she's been trapped in an abusive marriage for a while. So later in this funeral scene, when she's there and she's not interested in the funeral, the family's visibly mad at her for not acting like she cares, but they have no context. They don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, because basically he doesn't listen to his brother and gets in his car and then drives away. And of course, the obvious happens. You have like this one ghost on the road. He tries to. I'm not sure if he hits her or not.
Yeah, he
but
does.
However,
it's the Deadite girl that just killed those two guys in the lake. She's in the middle of the road. Yeah.
He flips over with his car, lands off the road. His car is now flipped over. It starts to burn.
Yeah.
No. And you have I think the head of the Deadite girl saying something to him while he starts.
It's a cool scene because she went through the windshield of the car and got stuck there, and then he rolled and the car's upside down. So her whole torso is sticking through the window with a broken neck and her head's kind of hanging, right?
Yeah.
Car catches on fire and she turns her head. And it's cool too because they zoom in on her neck and you can see the tendons kind of snapping in her neck, and then her head falls off and hits the ground, and she looks at him as he's about to burn to death, and she's like, "We found you and your family," and that's the last thing he sees before he dies, burning to death.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a fucking wicked scene, dude. Wicked.
It is. Then the screen just pops up. Evil Dead.
Evil Dead Burn. Yeah.
And that was kind of so far up until that point. That was the prologue. No. And I mean, directly after that, I think it pretty much cuts directly to the funeral.
The funeral. Yeah. It's a funeral.
Yeah.
We missed the whole expose of the family getting notified and all that stuff, which I'm thankful for. There's a lot of things you don't need to see. The family shows up at a funeral parlor. Everybody looks sad. So automatically that everybody knows and that they're there for a funeral, right?
Yeah.
Alice is dressed in a jogging suit and tennis shoes, and everybody else is dressed to the nines. So immediately her family, or her husband's family, is mad at her and doesn't understand why she didn't doll herself up or anything like that. And this automatically...
Actually, it's only the father that's bad.
Well, it's the mom, too, because she gives her a pair of shoes. She looks down at her shoes and is like, "Oh, honey, those won't do. I think you'll fit my shoes." So she gives her a pair of dress shoes. So even the mother's bothered by it. Which, I'm sorry, I don't think I would get on anybody's case about not dressing appropriately for your funeral, especially if you're in mourning. These people are assholes also.
Well, that's true. They're assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can give a little bit of props to the mom because it's even though the mom does that, and even it was clearly established through the discussion that the main protagonist has with her brother-in-law, whatever, that even the mom did not really like her that much. It was always the mom accepted her as her daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
She accepted that her son loved this woman, and when he was gone, well, she hugged her and tried to comfort her a little bit, and was like, we have these kind of differences, but let's just put them aside for now.
Yeah.
So. And that's also something that I would say does give the mom kind of sympathy point, but the dad, he just acts like a complete
dude. He's a fucking asshole. So his name is Edgar, right? And of course, he brought his mom along. So the grandmother, her name's Polly. She's demented, like we talked about before. This guy fucking, I don't know, man. He doesn't say a whole lot. All he does is shoot nasty looks at Alice the whole time.
At Alice, exactly.
Yeah.
And all he does. And it's like, of course, then you have the funeral going on. And the funeral lady says like these things or whatever. Then they come back to Alice. If she wants to say anything, if she's just like pinpointed down, like, no, I haven't prepared any speech or whatever. No,
Yeah.
it's fine. I mean, everybody grieves and mourns in their own way. But this is like instantly his parents turn around to her dad specifically,
Yep.
gives her this evil look. And, it's like, what makes this guy be a fucking scumbag is neither have any of them prepared any speech.
Yeah, of course. I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I was like, where's your fucking speech, bitch? What the fuck? They just automatically judge her, man. I don't.
Yeah, so it's clearly that, except for the brother-in-law, no, that's also a friend of Alice.
Yeah.
He's like the only one that seems to be a cool dude.
Yeah.
And the parents are just assholes. And I would say like the Will definitely fitted into the family. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right.
But the younger brother is nothing like this family.
Yeah, he's okay. He doesn't seem like anything like his
Yeah,
dad.
even,
It's also
even
kind of established that he doesn't like his dad later. So
yeah, that's established as well. And also you can see that even I'm not sure what's the guy's name?
Joseph,
exactly. It's also hinted towards that his parents also do not like Joseph's wife because I think she's a Latino, isn't she?
Yeah. There's an underlying hint of racism here.
Yeah.
Throughout the film, and it's used to comic effect, especially in this part, really well. Yeah. But you get the feeling that the father and the mother do not approve of his wife because she's Hispanic.
Yeah.
And to reinforce that, the grandmother, who's wheeled up in the wheelchair to the funeral parlor, the minute she sees her, she's like, "That's that woman that stole my money." She's automatically like remembering, just being racist. She's like, "This Hispanic woman stole my money," and the mom is like, "Be quiet, mom. Be quiet." But it's great.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that is also, like pretty much the scene until like they take the coffin off to have him cremated.
Yeah.
You see a short scene outside. I'm not sure if this happens before we are there, but we're like Alice says hi to the dog, wants to pet it, but the dad calls the dog away.
Yeah, that's before they go in. Yeah. The father doesn't even want the dog to acknowledge her, which is
exactly.
Yeah.
However, then you see like the funeral guy doing his thing, listening to music, getting the body prepared to be cremated. This is when the dad comes in. The dad says like, "Oh, can I have 5 more minutes with my son?"
Yeah.
And they have the short discussion going on until the funeral guy agrees. Then the dad goes into the room and is now alone with the casket and Will's dead body. This is like the only time where the dad actually shows any kind of feelings towards his son until he hears knocking out of the coffin. Yeah. And this is where shit goes down because the dad instantly tries to open up the coffin. A hand comes out, grabs the dad by the hand, and burns him by the hand.
Yeah.
And then he falls down on the floor.
Right.
You see the Will's dead body coming out. In the same time, the funeral guy comes in, and Will obviously kills him.
Yeah, it's a spray of blood and flesh too. You don't see what happens to him. You just see the floor get covered in it. So this Deadite is dangerous as fuck.
Yeah, and then you can see also like this is also the scene where Edgar, the father, is clearly infected by the Deadite because you can see a weird flickering in his eyes.
Yeah.
But this is like not before the possession fully takes over him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of half in, half out at this point. These Deadites throughout the films kind of pick and choose when they come out. Like they're dormant inside of a body until they need to come out. So he's infected. He just doesn't know it yet. And this thing is waiting to show itself. Right.
Yeah.
The only question I had is how did nobody in the funeral home notice that this funeral home worker got splattered all over the place? You know, the dad would have been covered in blood too, because it was just a blood storm like it is in every Evil Dead film. But he comes out completely normal.
Evil Dead. Yeah.
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 So the family then drives back to their house, right? And so this is not their house. This was their house, but now it belongs to Joseph. So this house was given to Joseph to take care of and, sell if he wanted to sell or whatever. But he hasn't taken care of the place, and his dad does not waste any time telling him that. He's like, look at this fucking place. Look at this fucking place. We give you this to take care of, and everything's fucking broken. Everything needs paint. It looks like shit. You're useless. So Dad's an asshole. Dad doesn't like his own son. He thinks he's useless. And I feel bad for this guy because nobody wastes any time telling him how useless he is this entire fucking film.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm the only one. This is like also you can see that this guy really kind of want to get away from his family. I mean, and you can see like small gestures from his wife, her trying to comfort him, like, hey, no, it'll be over in a few days, you know.
Yeah.
Like the look she gives to him, the way she acts towards him, she always gives this comfort and looks like, hey, it's gonna be over in a few days. So let's just
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's like every fucking family gathering ever. Let's just get through tonight. Let's get through tonight. And then we'll get through the next day. It's like nobody wants to be there, but they all have to be, right?
Yeah.
So Joseph kind of escapes to the attic real quick to get away from everybody. Most of his grandfather's stuff, his studies about the Necronomicon and the daggers and everything, are up in the attic. He's obviously fascinated by it because I think he's probably latching on to the only member of his family that he doesn't think is crazy. And that would be his dead grandfather. But he's up in the attic looking through his grandfather's stuff. The mom comes up and she looks at what he's doing and she's like, why are you wasting your time with this stuff? Your grandfather was not a good man. He ignored the family. He was gone all the time on this stupid research, and all the stuff you're looking at right now is my childhood because instead of him spending time with his family, he was doing this shit. Quit wasting your time on it, right? So the idea is that the grandfather apparently spent years traveling and researching the Necronomicon because that's hinted at in some of the stuff he's reading. So there's also something in there, and I didn't catch this. This was brought up later. In some of the stuff that you see that you read, he was a co-worker of Raymond Noby, who, if you know who that is, that's the guy from the first movie whose wife is Henrietta, right?
Yeah.
So that is the professor from the first three movies that read from the Necronomicon and whose voice you hear on the tape. So he worked hand in hand with Raymond Noby. But that relationship kind of remains unexplained, but it's kind of hinted at that they were colleagues, right? This is where the dad's infection starts to take effect. So the family is sitting around the table. This guy is glitchy as fuck, man. Like he's shaking and he's looking around weird and his skin's getting this weird color. Like, so we all know what this is because we've seen it a million times. So he also tries to kill himself, right? He's down in the basement.
Yes.
After we see him acting weird, he goes down to the basement. Alice follows him because she notices he's acting shifty and then catches him in the basement trying to slit his wrists, takes the knife away from him and says, don't do that. And Edgar says, okay, please don't tell the family about this. And she's like, I won't. It'll be our secret, but I'm keeping the knife. Come back upstairs. So he goes back upstairs and everybody sits at the table. The film deliberately shows several ordinary objects before they're used violently. Did you notice that shit? Like, there's a scene where it shows a knife on the table, and then it shows a corkscrew, and it shows a fork, and there's like close-ups of these utensils. So they're kind of like foreshadowing that every one of these could be used as a weapon. Also, the weed cutter at the beginning of the film. The father is out in the garage trying to get it started, and he can't get the fucking thing started. So you know that thing's coming back too in this film. So we're at the family dinner. The family sits down together for dinner. The tension kind of focuses on Alice. Edgar and Susan are blaming her at least partly for Will's death, and resent her behavior at the funeral. Now, these are things that normally wouldn't be said, but because Edgar is under the influence of a Deadite, he has no filter. So he's just saying these terrible things, right? Even though her husband just died. Joseph is kind of sympathetic towards Alice. Like he's saying, hey, leave her alone. Her husband just died. Why are you doing this? And then when he does that, the father criticizes him for being useless again and says, well, you haven't written a fucking book. You haven't done anything with your life. You can't even take care of a house. Shut the fuck up. Right? So this is turning nasty pretty fucking quick. And this is where the dog, trigger warning, everybody, this is where the dog starts like getting a little bit verbal and restless because dogs feed off of everybody's energy in a room. So everybody's energy is fucking negative. Everybody's treating each other like shit. So the dog's obviously upset. And the dog is making more and more noise. And it's irritating Edgar. And finally, he picks up a knife and stabs the dog multiple times in the fucking head on screen. Right? Just kills the dog.
Yeah.
This sucks. I wish he'd have done something different, but whatever, dude. It's part of the movie now. The good news is, because this happens, we get a dead-eyed dog later, which is the first time that's happened. So, this movie establishes that animals can also be infected by this evil, which is pretty cool. That opens up the door for a whole bunch of other shit and whatever other films they want to do.
But it's another franchise that maybe never, ever again any zombie tiger, okay?
Oh
no
my
zombie
God.
tigers.
Zack Snyder.
Never, ever again.
Yeah, Country of the Dead. That was the movie. Huh?
I actually liked that
Only
film.
yeah.
It was just silly, though, man. The film was silly.
Yeah,
as fuck.
it was silly. Yeah, it was okay.
It was all right. I'll watch anything Zack Snyder does just because I'm a fan. But that movie was fucking whack, dude.
Zombie. Oh my god! Sorry for the interruption.
No, it's okay. No interruption, dude. You're right. I don't want to see any zombie tigers either, unless it's in an Evil Dead film. If they want to do it in an Evil Dead film, I'm fine with it. At least it reinforces the wackiness of the original trilogy.
But a monkey rat from Sumatra could be an idea.
Yeah, and you could also have the discussion if the Deadites are actually zombies, because technically
Technically, it's
Yeah.
sorry, it's haunted corpse.
Yeah.
And not the
Well, this is like Hunted Corpse. Yes, no. Deadites can be more classified as demons. No,
possession. Movement, yeah.
It's a possession. Yeah.
demon. Yeah, it's a possession, so they can be classified more as demons, or more than zombies. You know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, also
that's been the argument for so long: is are these things zombies? And to me, it's always been clear that they're just possessed humans.
Yes. I mean, I can understand the argument that they're called zombies. A lot of people, even that those are zombies, they refer to that specifically because of the fact that they're undead. But the classification of undead themselves does not necessarily make somebody a zombie. I mean, because yeah, exactly. Bruno, you just brought it up because considering that, you would have like all demons technically were zombies, vampires technically are zombies, skeletons technically are zombies. So it is like when it comes to undead, zombies are different. Sometimes it's a supernatural factor, sometimes it's a biological factor. But the fact is, zombies purely always are undead corpses that have no personality, that purely only exist to eat human flesh.
Sorry,
That is the basic classification.
Eternal of the living there. Are they zombies?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
you can. I mean, the point is, yeah, you can obviously you can obviously differ from that. You just brought it up, Return of the Living Dead, obviously. Huh? There are also multiple other zombie movies where you can see zombies that start to show individual characteristics. No?
Also by Romero.
Yeah. Exactly.
Day of the
Romero
Dead 2. Yeah, Day of the Dead 2.
Exactly.
All those.
Exactly. So this is like, it's not like black and white, but if you want a classification, that is the basic classification of zombies. And when you take the Deadites into consideration, each and every single one of these Deadites portray individual thought and individual personality.
Yeah.
Beyond the fact they have powers that are clearly nowhere. Zombies basically don't have regenerative power. Their bodies will just rot and rot away. If you shoot them, they'll keep on walking, but the body is still destroyed. It doesn't technically
Yeah.
heal.
For me, building even also from shadows are just victims for different sphere.
Exactly. Exactly.
It comes interface with the reality, with our reality.
Yeah, exactly. You're correct, Bruno. That's what it comes down to. The Deadites are basically, you can classify them as demons.
Yeah, they are.
Possessed.
Yeah. They're like the worst kind as well. I mean, the original idea behind them was they're tormented souls from hell that have the ability to possess bodies, and because they're tormented, they're also fucked up. Like these are completely depraved demons, right? And so that's why when they possess something, they automatically start to taunt everybody else with your worst fears, with pain that you have. They can see all the pain in your brain and like all the issues you have, and they use those to pick on you. And that's what they always do. They're just really fucking terrible demons.
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, even that's the thought. But even tormented souls from hell, depending on whatever story you're going by, that is technically how demons are born.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
you go into the public version, it's something differently. A lot of them, in the beginning, were fallen angels or whatever. But in a lot of stories, that's how demons often are also created. Evil people, or people go to hell. In hell, their souls are tormented to the point where eventually their humanity is burned away entirely.
Yeah.
And whenever the human soul loses the last ounce of humanity, that soul becomes a demon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's why also demons in general, just in demonology, like you can look all this stuff up. People that believe in this stuff, I don't necessarily, but demons are associated also with a rotting smell of like dead flesh. Even if there's nothing in the room that's rotting or whatever, they say if a demon is around, you'll smell rotting flesh, and that's because they are tormented, destroyed souls from it. What were you saying?
Well, sometimes it's me. Don't worry, there's no demon. I'm just maybe at the moment.
Okay, go ahead, say what you want, dude. I'm interested. That's the cool thing about this podcast. We go off on tangents all the time about shit like this.
Yeah, absolutely,
all the time. I love it, dude. It makes it more interesting.
Bruno, we've derailed on this podcast for more than worst case, even for an hour.
Yeah, we've derailed for at least an hour.
Okay, the rotten flesh is just me at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So after the father kills the dog, he falls back in his chair and cracks his head on the fucking ground. So the family's like, oh shit, he's having a mental breakdown and he just smashed the back of his head. We got to get him to the hospital. So Joseph and his wife get the dad. What was
best idea ever?
Yeah. It doesn't go well. Spoiler alert. So they put his ass in the back of the car, put a fucking seatbelt on him. So Joseph is in the back seat with his dad trying to like wake him up, because if somebody has a head injury, you want them to wake up as soon as possible, especially if it's like a concussion, because you can actually go into a coma if somebody is not able to wake you up fast enough. Right. So he's trying to wake his dad up. His wife is driving. And all of a sudden, dad wakes up, but it ain't fucking dad, obviously. And this fucking Deadite starts attacking them in the car in the worst sort of way. Like, first of all, he hits his son, knocks him out completely. Then he grabs her around the front of her face. So while she's driving at a high speed, makes the car wreck. And once the car wrecks, he just starts beating the crap out of her. Like, this poor girl gets stabbed multiple times. I think he cracks her neck at one point. And then when she's knocked out, he grabs the headrest from one of the seats and just rams it into her fucking head. So it goes like to the top of her head and out of her mouth and into her neck. So she's fucking dead, dude. Like this girl gets so much abuse in this movie, even as a deadite, you kind of feel bad for her. Also, she tries to get out of the car at one point before that happens with the headrest.
Yeah.
And her hand is on the outside of the car, and the dad slams the door shut, cutting off all of her fingers. So her right hand has no fingers left either.
Yeah.
It's a cool scene too because it's also all practical. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of sucks because it's like this. I really like this girl. No, she's
cool.
actually like, yeah, she's one of the only sympathetic characters, in the movie.
She's also not a bad looking girl. I'll also say that she's a very good looking woman. Yeah. So at the time that this whole car accident is going on, Alice is back at the house still by herself with the mom, right? The mom is doing her own thing, and so is the grandma. Alice kind of goes out to a shed, right? Outside, it's like a gazebo, and she finds a bag that's out in the shed, and she's like, what the fuck is all this stuff? And opens it up. There is kind of a notebook that looks kind of like a Necronomicon, but it's not. It's like someone's transcribed things from the Necronomicon inside of this notebook, right?
Yeah.
And this is a funny scene in the movie because she does what everybody does in all these movies. She sees the writing and she's like, Conda. She's reading the words, just like every other fucking Evil Dead movie. And then she gets the second word and she says, Estrada. And as she's saying this, we get the typical, like, the force flying through the woods like it does in every movie, like this angry force going around the house and everything. So you know that the spirit's awake, and every time that somebody reads this, it just gets more powerful. So when she's about to get to the third word, which is Conda again, she looks at it and she's about to say it, and she goes, nah, fuck this. And she puts the book down. And it's hilarious because this will be the first film where nobody read everything, right? She's like, nah, fuck this. And everybody in the theater laughed because they were expecting her to read it, which is funny, right? She reads a little bit more in the book. She learns about previous Deadite outbreaks. Of course, she has no context for any of this stuff. She's just reading it for the first time, has no idea what it is. So she kind of gets an idea, and it's enough for her to understand later what's going on. So if she hadn't done this, then she probably would have no idea how to defeat these things or whatever. There's also a picture of the dagger in there, and it says, these daggers will eliminate Deadites. She doesn't really think anything of it, but she at least reads it, right? So the dog's name is Max, right? And Max comes back as a Deadite now. And this is a super fucking cool scene. Corpse becomes possessed. Deadite Max crashes through a window and attacks Alice, right?
Just one question, because I haven't seen the movie. Where was the dog when he turned in a dead? Was it buried or
No?
In a cold?
No, they didn't have any time for it. It's like he killed the dog and then cracked his head wide open. So the dog was just kind of, they probably put it outside, but it didn't get buried or anything. So there was no they didn't cut off its head. They didn't cut off its feet. Nothing that would have stopped it from becoming a Deadite. So now it's a full Deadite dog. And this thing looks cool too. Like, they did a really fucking good job with the dog. So the dog attacks her. She runs back into the house, doesn't try to like fight off the dog or hurt it in any way. So she gets away. She gets inside the house. She shuts the door. At this time, Joseph, for whatever reason, and I didn't really understand this, is at the door all of a sudden. So apparently he was able to run from the wreck back to the house during this time where she was reading this material, which accounts for maybe like 10 minutes. So I guess they didn't get too far. He comes in the door and he's just like a blabbering mess. Like nothing he's saying is making any sense. Obviously, because what he just went through, he's not able to put his thoughts together. The only thing he's able to say is lock the door. Lock the door. And before they can lock the door, that's when his now Deadite wife comes through the door, right? And if you've seen the previews for this, which I was thankful for this, as far as the previews for this movie go, they didn't give too much away. They just gave like small parts away, and this is one of the ones they gave away. She
Mm.
walks in the door. She's still got the headrest like stuck through her head and through her neck. And the metal piece from the headrest is like protruding through her mouth. So she's walking in with her mouth wide open, and she's kind of taunting them. This acting's great because she's like almost like doing a little dance. Like she's just
Yeah.
this goofy fucking deadite. And then she like puts her finger on the metal piece that's sticking through her mouth and kind of slowly pushes it out of her head, takes the headrest off and drops it on the ground. The whole family's kind of dumbfounded. Nobody knows what to say. Nobody's running away. Nobody's like screaming. They're just kind of standing there in awe. So she like does this little dance over to a table where there's some candles, and she picks one of the candles up and she acts like it's a shot and holds it up and says, "Cheers to your beautiful family," and then drinks the fucking wax from this lit candle. So there's like sizzling in her mouth, and it's just a fucking really unnerving scene, dude, but really, really fucking well done. Of course, she's in a room by herself, so the family's smartest idea is to slam the doors on where she is in the living room to kind of lock her in there because they know something's fucking up, right?
Yeah.
At this point, once they've got her locked up, they look outside because there's a sound, and the father is standing out in the yard, completely a deadite at this point, right?
Yeah.
And right next to him, the dog runs up. Actually, he whistles. He whistles first for the dog, and the dog runs up next to him and sits down. Then he takes a gun, which I have no idea where the fuck he got this gun, but he has a gun. And he puts it in his mouth this way, shoots once, blowing part of his head away on this side, puts it in the other side of his mouth, shoots again, blows this part of his head away. And I think he's doing this just to show them that there's nothing that they can do to stop the deadite.
Yeah.
Right? He just does this to say, do whatever you want to me, you're not going to stop us. Right? These deadites have a purpose for being there. They're not just there to attack this family. Like they have ulterior motives. We're not really sure what that is yet. But we're going to find out. So there's earlier in the movie, we got a flash of his mother loading the dishwasher, and this woman loads the dishwasher like a fucking psychopath. Okay. And when I say that, what was the one thing we were all taught as children not to do if you load the dishwasher? Anybody remember?
Yeah, don't put forks with the pointy side up, and neither with knives. Put them
Right. That is exactly how she loads the dishwasher. Anything pointy, she puts in the fucking silverware part sticking straight up. And like, we're shown this in great detail that she's doing this. And keep in mind, she's not possessed yet. This is just how she loads a dishwasher. And no human being on the fucking planet, unless you were born backwoods and your parents are a little in the head, do you load your dishwasher that way? But that's how she loads her dishwasher. And of course, you know exactly what's going to happen. Like, I don't even need to be told. I know someone is going to die because of this dishwasher, right?
It's Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
This dishwasher, a potential victim. Let me guess what happened.
But that's the thing. Like, there's things in movies that you can do to give a hint about what's going to happen, and I'm cool with that. I love foreshadowing. But this is just like stupid in your face kind of stuff. And the minute I saw her doing it, I was like, "Come on, guys, we can do better than this." Nobody loads a fucking dishwasher that way. Anyway, the wife breaks out of the room that they stuck her in, jumps on top of Joseph, and of course, he lands back first on top of the open dishwasher and gets stabbed in the back by multiple of these knives and forks, right? And then on top of that, she jumps on top of him, putting her weight on him on top of this stuff. And this stuff's sticking right in his kidneys, dude. Like, this guy's got puncture wounds everywhere.
Yeah.
To get her off of him, the corkscrew that we saw on the table earlier is now on the floor. So he grabs the corkscrew and sticks her in the neck. She acts like it hurts for a minute and then turns to him and smiles. Like, so it didn't do shit to her. And then she fucking basically knocks him out. So now he's knocked out on top of this thing. We think he's dead because anybody would be, because this guy's been punctured and all of his vital organs by knives and forks and shit, right? So she leaves him there, and the grandmother is on her way upstairs. She's got one of those fucking chair elevator things on the stairs that old people have. They sit on it and they just kind of go up the stairs, right? And she's screaming downstairs, and this was like a laugh out loud part of the movie, the comedy that I love. She knows that girl's in the kitchen attacking him, and she says something like, "Yeah, and when you're done with her, make sure you get my money back that she stole, immigrant." And she's going up the stairs, right? So once, I keep forgetting her name. Is it Thyla? Yeah, Thyla. Once she gets done with Joseph, she goes up the stairs to meet the grandmother, and the grandmother is sitting at the top of the stairs on her chair, and she looks at her and she goes, "Aw, you don't look like you're feeling very well, and your memory's not very good, right?" And Grandma's kind of nodding, and she goes, "Well, I have an idea." And she reaches in Grandma's mouth and takes out her dentures, like her false teeth, puts it in her own mouth, like rolls it around a little bit, and then puts it back in the grandmother's mouth. And it's like a pretty sick scene because there's some swapping of saliva going on here that's very not appetizing. It's a fucking sick scene. But I mean, if you know what happens in the Evil Dead series, you now know that Grandma is infected, right? Because this thing is passed through blood and spit and everything else, right? If you come in contact in any way with a Deadite, you're basically infected, unless you're Ash for some reason, right? So,
All good stick. Reason why.
Yeah, that magic
Yeah.
stick, yeah.
Yeah.
Plot armor!
Plot armor, yes. That's right. So once she infects Grandma, she puts Grandma back in the room and comes back downstairs because Joseph is kind of still alive and bleeding to death on the dishwasher. But by the time she gets down there, he's gotten off the dishwasher and removed the door from the dishwasher. So he's got this big metal fucking door in his hands. He catches her off guard, hits her on the head, gets her on the ground, and we get the most probably brutal head pummeling of any film I've seen. And this is the scene where the director said, "Hey, we actually had to cut this scene by 30 seconds because we would have gotten an NC-17 rating in the United States if we didn't." So they cut 30 seconds of this off. But it's hard to imagine 30 seconds being gone because it feels like a whole minute goes by of him just smashing her fucking head with this dishwasher door until there's nothing left, dude. Like, the only thing that's left after he's done pulverizing her is like the bottom of her jaw.
Yeah.
With teeth, and then the rest of her head just smashed everywhere, right? So once he gets done with that, he's standing there with the door in his hand, like out of breath, because obviously he just killed his wife. Like, all the things going through his head, I can't even imagine. And at that moment, his dad walks in and grabs the back of his head and forces his head into her smashed face and is like, "Go ahead, kiss your wife, kiss your," and he's like rubbing his face in her head. It's fucking sick. And that goes on for what feels like a fucking minute of uncomfortable filmmaking.
Yeah.
What do you want to say, dude? You look like you want to say something.
No. Well, wait, me or Bruno?
Just that I have to see the movie to figure it out. Because just no, I cannot figure it out.
Dude, it's fucking... so when I say that this movie is the most brutal, it's not the most gory, right? It's not like... There's definitely been more gore, I think, probably in the first Evil Dead film ever. Had just as much gore. But this one's just, like, uncomfortable. Very fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, the scenes, it's scenes that you just want to look away from. And the director was like, "I wanted to make the grossest, most uncomfortable Evil Dead film." Well, he succeeded. This one's like really difficult to watch, man.
Despite the remake should have been the most uncomfortable movies.
Yeah.
Well, the first one, I will say, the one everybody calls the remake, 2013, that was a difficult watch. Even for a horror fan, like, that movie was fucking rough. Like, really rough. I felt like that movie was rough, but it wasn't uncomfortable like this film is. This is super fucking uncomfortable.
Okay. Thanks for the information. A lot of people would be interested to know this because they have comparison with the first one. So if it makes more uncomfortable, I guess I have to prepare myself before watching this movie.
Oh yeah, dude. Mike definitely looked away a few times. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. I've seen enough movies with Mike now that I can kind of figure out when he's going to look away. And this scene, he was looking away. This movie, he was looking away constantly. It doesn't let up. It doesn't relent, because you go from one super uncomfortable scene to another really uncomfortable scene. Basically, the rest of this movie until the end is just a bunch of uncomfortable scenes, right? So after the dad smashes the son's face into his wife's smashed face, the mom heads upstairs to where the grandmother is, because she's woken up and she's trying to hide. She realizes her mom is in the bedroom. This whole fucking scene is uncomfortable. She walks in the bedroom and her mom the grandmother is underneath a blanket, so you can't see her face, and she's talking. But she's talking like an older woman who doesn't have dementia anymore. It's like her mom's voice. And she's like, "Oh my God, Mom." And her mom realizes who she is. And so the mother is tricked into getting closer to the grandmother because she thinks it's her mom having a coherent moment. So she gets close, and her mom starts explaining, now that I have my mind back and everything's okay, I really just wish we were a family again.
Yeah.
Right? And so she says, "Why don't you open the window and let your husband in? Because we need to be a family again." Keep in mind, the mother is not yet infected by anything. So for me, with all this craziness going on, there's not really a reason for her to open this window. Like, this would not have been convincing enough for me to open the window and let the father in, but she does it anyway. And then you get this really nasty, fucking uncomfortable, feels like minute-long kiss that happens between the father and the mother. And keep in mind, he's like French kissing her with half of his head gone, and you can see what's going on inside of his mouth because half his face is gone. So you can see her tongue and his tongue, and it's just fucking uncomfortable as shit, dude. Fucking gross. I wouldn't watch that scene again. Let's put it that way.
Are you expecting me to see this scene?
Yeah, dude, it's a good
Well,
movie.
no, you
It's a
don't.
good movie. It's just uncomfortable as fuck.
It's a good movie. Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's a good
uncomfortable.
song.
The use of CGI here, though, so they have to obviously use CGI to get this to work, because you're seeing the inside of his head and everything. But it's done so well that you don't realize it's CGI. So I got to give the movie props for that. Like, it's uncomfortable, and even though it's CGI, it doesn't take you out of it because it looks real as fuck. Now the mother is also infected, obviously, right? And now Joseph, who has been downstairs the entire time, is now possessed, right? Susan, Edgar, and Polly kind of rampage through the house, and they're throwing shit everywhere. This is another scene that we got in the preview of, like, this long extended fight scene that never cuts away.
Yeah.
The house is exploding. Things are getting thrown right and left. So yeah, Joseph gets slung around the house. He's not completely possessed yet, but he's infected. And they're just slinging him around the house. The whole time the father's throwing him around the house, he's asking him where the thing is that he wants. They haven't said dagger yet, but the Deadites are there to get this dagger, right? And he keeps saying, "Where is it? Where is it?" And every time Joseph is like, "I don't know what you're talking about," he slams him through another wall. And this is where I was looking at Mike in the theater going, holy shit, these are not Deadites. These are superhumans. Because these fuckers have abnormal strength like a motherfucker. He's literally throwing this guy around the house like a ragdoll.
Yeah, they
Punching
have
through
super
walls.
strength, super speed, super healing, and can also run at points.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. You've never seen Deadites this strong in any of the movies. Or even the series. Like, they weren't this OP. So while this is going on, Alice runs outside, which I was wondering for this part, why the fuck she didn't just run away, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But she runs outside and grabs the weed whacker that the father was trying to get started this entire time. By the way, this type of weed whacker doesn't actually exist. There is no tool that has a spinning saw blade on the end of it. What this is a call to Friday the 13th, because Jason has one of these things and kills people with it. But this tool doesn't actually exist. But it's still interesting, right?
Mhm.
So she goes outside and gets this weed whacker. Of course, this weed whacker was not able to be started by anybody yet, but she just pulls it once and it starts, right? So she runs back inside and tries to get the grandmother, but the grandmother overpowers her and gets her on the ground, and the weed whacker goes flying across the room. There's shards of glass on the ground from a window being broken, specifically the window that wasn't broken in Ruby's house during Ash versus Evil Dead. It's the only window in the house that wasn't broken. So just fan bullshit right there for you. The window finally gets broken. She grabs a shard of glass and sticks it in the grandmother's eye. So now the grandmother's got this big shard of glass in her eye. She takes the grandmother and puts her back on her chair and straps her down and sends her down the stairs slowly, right? The grandmother's just like staring at her. She runs down the stairs, and the grandmother has taken the shard of glass out of her eye and is cutting off her own leg to get out of the chair, right? Now that is the last time you're going to see the grandmother, and this like bothered me because she's absent for the rest of the movie, right? We don't know why she does what she does. We'll find out later, but it doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, she's missing after this. Okay. Alice pulls Susan, which is the mother, into the bathroom and attempts to lock them both inside because she doesn't know that the mother is infected right now. Susan then starts continuing to blame Alice for her husband's death. So it's obvious to the viewer that she's infected because there's no normal person who would start doing this at this point in time. But she's blaming Alice for Will's death, and Alice is being destroyed by this at the same time. Alice picks up her shirt, and this is where we kind of get an introduction into how bad Will really was. Because she lifts up her shirt and there's this huge burn mark from underneath her breast all the way to her pants where her husband threw scalding hot water on her. And she's like, this is what your son did. Your son was abusive. You don't want to admit that, but he was abusive to me. And that's why I don't love him, right? So then you find out what type of prick this guy really was. He was extremely abusive, right? So Susan becomes a Deadite at that moment. Like, her eyes change, her skin change, everything changed, and attacks Alice, right? She bashes, Alice bashes Susan's head against the radiator, like a heater in the bathroom, over and over until her face is bloody, and then she rests there for a minute, cooking on this fucking thing. So you get, like, sizzling flesh just burning on this radiator while this woman is knocked out. And then eventually she stands back up and gets off the radiator. But when she does that, like, half of her face comes off on the radiator, which is pretty fucking cool. Alice is ready. She's got the weed whacker, and she attacks the mom with the weed whacker, cutting her up a little bit, but not like cutting her arms or anything like that off. Just enough to like get her the fuck away from her so that she can escape, right? She kind of survives long enough to continue participating in the attack or pursuit after Alice. And then Alice crawls through the house, out the top window, and onto the roof. And this is where we get, like, the dad and the mom chasing her up to the chimney, right? This is a scene that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, Mike. Did you catch this whole chimney scene?
No, because she goes into the chimney, down back into the first floor. Then she runs up the stairs, up again to the bathroom, digs a hole through the ceiling of the bathroom, and then goes into the attic. Because one thing we mentioned, Joseph mentioned to Alice that there's a specific dagger they're looking for.
Yeah.
He knew this because the documents of grandmother. So he knew that it was somewhere in the attic.
Yeah.
So that's like she took a very long reroute.
Yeah.
Even though she could have just basically opened up the window and gone to the attic, but
exactly.
Whatever. No?
But
So
if she hadn't gone down the chimney, then the mom wouldn't be dead. That's the point.
Yeah.
Like they had to find a way to kill the mom finally. So
Yeah.
she goes down the chimney, and both Deadites are following her, and she's got a weed whacker in her hand. By the way, there is no chimney this big anywhere in the U.S., but this is a very big chimney. And so the
No,
Deadites
but
are coming
one of my
after her.
questions- That was one of my questions. For what I know, in Europe, you can't find a chimney where it can so go through. But in the US,
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't exist. Unlike a really old house, maybe, but even then, the chimney is not big enough for someone to come down. You know what I mean? But she's going down this chimney, and the whole time she's got the weed whacker facing up at the Deadites, and she's cutting the mom to pieces the whole time. And so you see the bottom of the fireplace, and there's blood falling into the fireplace, and then eventually the mom's head, and then an arm, and then the rest of the body. So she cut the mom up, right?
Yeah.
And that's where she heads from there all the way back up to the attic, like Mike said, cuts a hole in the roof and goes up that way. And then she finds the bag that has all these daggers in it. And this is where the filmmaker did something pretty cool, because the first dagger that you see is the dagger from the first Evil Dead film and the second one. It's the exact one. So this guy is in the possession of the original dagger from the first two. She sees it because it's the...
just now, question: when you say two top movies, you speak about the one from 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these original ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's the one with the skull head and the spine.
Yeah.
So that one. And of course, out of all the daggers in this bag, that is the only one that looks like it belongs to a Necronomicon. Every other dagger in there just looks like a fucking knife, right?
Yeah.
So she sees that one, and at the exact same time that she sees it, Joseph pokes his head through the hole completely possessed and starts attacking her. She stabs him with that dagger, and he acts for a second like he's dying. And then his face changes, and he smiles, and he's like, wrong one. And starts attacking her some more. So then she has this thing where she goes through all these knives and is stabbing them with each one of them, trying to figure out which one it is. And finally, after like 5 knives and 5 stabs, she gets him with the right one. And the dagger that she stabs him with is like the most rudimentary, tiny little piece of shit dagger that looks like a nail file. Doesn't even look like a dagger, but she stabs him with it, and the demon leaves him. And he has like 2 seconds of something that he says, because he's his normal self again. I do not remember what it is. You remember, Mike?
No, I don't.
I have no idea either. But then he dies, right?
Mm.
The dagger also, this is important, like whenever you change from a Deadite back into a human, you still maintain all of the wounds and everything that you got as a Deadite. Like you don't heal. So anyone dies after losing the Deadite that's inside of them. So the dad chases Alice. She escapes out onto the roof and escapes down. No, wait, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I got the shit backwards. This is where she burns the house, because the wife of Joseph had also brought in a like a canister of gasoline and started soaking the house. So all that gasoline is... She lights a match, sets the house on fire, and that kills the dad as well, because the dad is inside. So he burns to death. So she steps out of the house, and you think this is the end of the movie because everybody's dead, except for the dog. You forgot about the fucking dog.
That's 3 times.
Yes.
I want to have a girl. You need to be there.
Yeah. And it's a cool scene because she still has the fucking dagger. She didn't like let it out of her hand. And the dog jumps and attacks her. And this was stolen directly from fucking Resident Evil, the movie.
Yeah.
It is the exact same fucking scene, because you get a slow motion of the dog jumping towards her and her jumping towards the dog. And she stabs the dog underneath and it dies. It's a cool scene, but it's scene for scene Resident Evil, the first one. So now the dog is dead. This is the second time we've seen the dog die. So then we get kind of the unexpected, right? We have not seen what happened to Will this entire time, which Will is her dead husband. Why he's here at the house, I don't know. Or where he's been the entire fucking time. But the house is on fire, and he comes out of the house. right? And he's completely in flames. This is where we got CGI that looks like CGI. I have no idea how else they would have done this though without CGI, so I can't blame them too much. It is a little silly looking though.
Yeah.
And then the end of this movie is just drawn out, dude. Like it feels like the end of this movie lasts another half an hour. But but there's nothing happening. Like she runs away from the house. I think she's able to get one of the cars started or something and drives.
Yeah, she drives and then stops at a construction. Will manages to follow her. He pushes her into this a pit, where she slowly gets out.
Yeah, it's a tar pit.
Yeah,
it's a tar pit where they heat up.
The tar pit, exactly.
Yeah,
and the Deadite kind of tries to pull her into him to make her also a Deadite, but Alice stabs Will with the knife, killing him.
There's a little bit of color here that's cool too, because in every single Evil Dead movie, there's always a chainsaw scene, right? Never fails. So she pulls on a cord while he's attacking her, and a chainsaw falls, and a jackhammer falls as well. She reaches over, and of course you think she's going to grab the chainsaw and cut this thing up, because that's every Evil Dead movie. But she reaches and grabs something off screen and comes back, and it's not the chainsaw, it's a jackhammer. She sticks a jackhammer in his chest and just basically jackhammers him to death. And then he falls into the pit. You get one moment where he comes back out and his face is completely normal again, like that of her husband. And he's like, "Baby, I love you. Why are you killing me?" The typical thing that Deadites do. She sees through it. She knows it's bullshit and basically like sticks both of her thumbs in his eyes and kills him, and he goes down in the pit and he's dead. Right. So that's the end of the Deadite issue. She still has the knife, and I think that's the most important thing that everybody needs to remember, because that knife is going to come up probably in the next film. But she's there. I guess someone calls an ambulance, because all of a sudden there's an ambulance and fucking police cars there. I don't know how she did that, but whatever. It's a movie. They're there, and she's looking at the paramedic, and she says, "Can you give me a cigarette?" Because at the beginning of the movie, Will was bitching at her for smoking, right? So he's like, "Can you give me a cigarette?" And the woman gives her a cigarette, and she lights a cigarette, and that's the end of the movie, right? Now, this movie has 2 after-credit sequences. One of them makes sense, and one of them doesn't. The first one is you see a woman driving in a car, and she sees something on the road ahead and stops, gets out of the car and comes up, and it's the grandmother, who now has no legs because she's cut them both off, to get out of the chair, and she's been crawling on the ground. She comes up to the grandmother, says, "What can I do for you? Are you okay? Do we need to call an ambulance?" Grandma says, "Well, I don't have any legs, but yours will do fine," and attacks the woman. That's the end of that first credit scene. Now, here's the one that makes no fucking sense, and I don't know where they're going with this, but I kind of have an idea, and I kind of wanted to see what you thought, Mike, because I've kind of played around with it, and I kind of think I know what they're doing. But it shows the funeral home that we saw at the beginning, where the husband was taken, right? There's a little girl and the mother who owns the funeral home, and she tells her little girl, "Okay, wait here, because I have to go see about some guests upstairs." And the little girl is standing in a room where there's people's ashes in urns around, right? She looks at one of the urns, and it's got the last name of the family from Evil Dead Rise. Now, if you remember, in Evil Dead Rise, all of them got cut up in a wood chipper at the end of the film, because they were all one monster. So apparently they took what was left of that, burned it, and put the ashes in an urn, right? So she reads the name. We immediately know it's the name of the family from the last movie. And then she hears something behind her and looks behind her, and in the mirror that's on the wall is the woman, the redheaded Deadite from the last movie, Evil Dead Rise. And she looks completely normal. She looks like a normal human being. And she's talking to the little girl, trying to get her to come to the mirror. and the little girl doesn't do it and turns around. And when she turns around, she sees her again in the flesh as a Deadite. The same woman we saw from Evil Dead Rise. She takes the little girl, snaps her neck, and says, "Mommy's back." And that's the end of the after credit scene, right? Makes absolutely no sense in the lore. What do you think?
Well, it technically depends. I haven't seen Evil Dead Rise, but it depends if it was actually her in the flesh or if it was an illusion caused by a Deadite. That technically would be one explanation, or that this woman specifically is not a Deadite, so she is the entity that is basically creating these Deadites and is possessed this woman, and somehow some kind of shape-shifting ability, or basically the ability to warp reality and create a new body. Those are technically three explanations I would work, but you would have to see with the next movie.
Yeah.
It only be done for free. I mean, that you cannot, it makes no sense at the moment with what you've seen until now.
Exactly.
But the thing, when I see for all that you explained from this movie, I haven't seen it on my own.
Yeah.
It's truly picking at the original, taking a logical way.
Yeah.
And nothing is for free. Okay, a few scenes clear. Just often also to make you uncomfortable. But the thing is, in the lore that they do, with the character that creating and everything, it's not for free or just, it will be great to have this woman once again. And there's two of them.
Yeah.
And so I see it as a trailer that's it's not credit scene, but it's like a trailer for He's Back.
A teaser. Yeah.
It's a teaser. And I think it makes no sense with what you've seen until now, but with all the explanations that we have in this movie for what you talk about, so daggers, stream, Necronomicon, the lore. They have the lore, I understand, but also connecting with the theory, with the old ones, everything's taken in the same universe, and that's unique on such a long time.
Yeah.
They moved story when I said, but with just nonsense sorcery.
Yeah, in that.
So-
I do think there is a purpose, because you could also see super healing or shape shifting things going on, specifically in Army of Darkness when Demon Ash comes back, or necessarily the character played by Lucy Lawless, where she gets killed, totally burnt to a crisp, and comes back. So you can clearly see that
she's not a Deadite though.
No, not a Deadite. I'm not saying she's a Deadite, but from the supernatural aspect, there are forces and, let's say, anti-divine beings that have these certain abilities. Now, so I could say we would have to see how it is explained in the next movie.
Okay, so I've got my theory, right? Check this out and see if this makes sense. Every time we've seen Evil Ash, including in part 2, because you see him in part 2, Evil Dead 2, for a split second, where does Evil Ash always come from?
From Ash itself, as far as I can remember, he divided himself in more parts.
Exactly. In Army of Darkness, he divided himself into two parts.
Yeah, in our case, in Army of Darkness, that you don't.
But before that, where did he come from? It's a mirror every time. So in the second Evil Dead film, Evil Ash comes out of the mirror, grabs Ash by the shoulders and says, "I don't think so. We just cut up our girlfriend with a chainsaw. Does that sound fine?" Army of Darkness, he's in the mill. He sees a mirror. He breaks the mirror, and the ashes come out of the mirror. And then it infects him, and he splits in two. So it's always from a fucking mirror. Always.
Yeah,
So I think if these... And then, in Ash versus Evil Dead, he comes out of the mirror again. And there's two of them. So you can kill a Deadite, but they come right back out of the mirrors.
You told that in this post-credit scene, the girl wasn't in the mirror.
Exactly. That's what in theory is hitting.
So your theory is importantly in the fact that they're really durable. And what I see for what you explain, and I've said it again, I haven't seen this sixth movie.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it. My feeling from what you told. They're taking all the law together. Every elder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in the universe together. What's happening just right now, the filming and even the union. And not one shot with the second one or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we can expect something bigger with a long direction, not just one movie, but maybe
Right.
something really fully far away now.
Right.
And maybe something about 3 or 4 further movies. It will not be the difficult thing is they integrated the old stuff. They kept our beloved Ash material.
Yeah.
Just to make it existing because we wanted to see him in our age or a little bit older. We wanted it, all of us. And then they went on more brutality. With the one 2013. This uncomfortable story and the two truly this Deadite story a little bit deeper, at preview. So there is a complete law. They needed, so they made not a remake. Okay, it's not a remake, but they reboot them. Nearly. It was told as a reboot. The one from 2013.
Right.
They decided to integrate all the old law from 70s, 80s in. That's just great.
Yeah.
And now they're going from a smart one franchise with a deeper lore, deeper story, and always this uncomfortable gory, not only gory, but what to explain. You have also no words. With both three speaking 3 languages.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if the 4 languages I'm speaking, I don't find the word. We find it clear,
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's something uncomfortable with that gore. But that's also sometimes a little bit snuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
the thing is, okay, that's beyond gore.
Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable and brings the humor a little bit away. I feel that they're going this direction to make the final horror franchise. Something
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
And
I think that's what's happening. I think they're setting up for a final film that ties everything together.
Yeah. But it was pretty well done until now, I would say.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
The opposite of the Deadites and Nintendo franchise.
Oh God! Don't start. Won't start with that.
Please don't. Please don't.
Well, no, you can. No, we can. We start with the Terminator. We have 2 episodes of Terminator 1 and 2.
Oh God, and they are long
No.
episodes too. Holy fuck, man.
More folks. You won't have 1 or 2 episodes. If he's speaking, you will just have a fun side speaking about the franchise, okay?
Yeah, well, we have 2 episodes on the podcast. Terminator 1, Terminator 2.
Yeah, 2. And how many that's all that?
What? I don't know. Recording was like 4 hours per each.
At least.
Yeah, it was about 4 hours for the first one and about 3.5 for the second one, and I had to cut them all down to around 3 hours. Because honestly, that's Mike's favorite thing, so we talked about it in depth.
I mean, both of us, because it's like also Terminator was, of course. I mean, I could go very into detail with the lore of Terminator.
Oh God,
no?
please don't.
Okay, yeah, but we basically also, just like I said, everything happening after Terminator 2 makes no sense.
Yeah.
If you guys want to know why, watch our episodes on Terminator 1 and Terminator 2.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah, I explain it into very, very detailed. We also go into what basically is the best canon. That's the Future War novelization. Those 3 books, the video game Terminator Resistance, brilliantly. Those, but other than that, every single Terminator movie after Terminator 2 just sucks.
Pointless.
It sucks.
Pointless.
And it's because both Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 are stories that created that can't continue after Terminator 2. They can't, no matter what you do. Because even if you do it correctly, those are going to be the events leading up to Terminator 1 and Terminator 2.
It's just farts into the universe that mean nothing, basically.
Yeah. But those stories are like Terminator, like franchises.
Well, I mean, had I known, I would have had you on for those too, because if that's one of your favorite movies, dude, we literally talked about 1 and 2 for hours.
But
Hours.
honestly, next time you will think about zombies or infected, then I can be more horrible than game when speaking of Terminator, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Well, we've got a couple of zombie films coming up, don't we?
We'll have so rest.
I mean, there are still a few zombie movies we can do in that
A
we
few.
failed.
A
You
few.
haven't done zombies for it's your bullshit.
No.
You've never spoken the word story about Bruno McCain.
No, no.
You know, that's funny thing. But exactly the same theme back.
Yeah.
I live in the tomb.
Yep.
Second one, I hear returns. Exactly this. I have those zombies. I have a lot.
Yes. Bruno is gonna. If Bruno is like with me with Terminator, with just with zombies.
With
Okay.
zombies, I
Okay.
means that people don't know.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
Mike, we have to pick a film then that somewhat follows like good zombie lore, but then ruins it so that he can like have a fit.
Zombie laws that were ruined.
Yeah.
I will kill myself. That's the one from
Dude,
Dr.
I'm
Who.
all about it. I love having people on that are like into something. That's why we always get Nim for the original Evil Dead trilogy because he's a super fan, you know.
You know, when I was young, I saw the trilogy of Romero, right? The Living There, also the remake from the 90s with Tom Savini.
Yeah.
Marvelous. So, Zombie, of Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. And when I heard about the fact that Romero was making a new zombie movie, I was excited. The first one,
Yep.
you know, it was compared to the first Star Wars I could see in the theater. And
Yeah.
I saw Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. That
one
next Romero movie is on its way.
Well,
right?
the other ones are reboots.
No.
Because They're reboots.
They're prequels.
We have the Dead.
No, I mean the Diary of the Dead and Survival of the Dead are technically
Survival of
just
the Dead doesn't exist.
well, there are movies that are taking place during the events of the original trilogy, but they're not.
It's nowadays.
Huh?
It's nowadays.
It is nowadays, but
So
yeah, but that is the official canon. Also,
Okay,
speaking,
sorry,
off-
and begin with stuff from nowadays.
yeah, but but you can say it's just like the way it's made, but
That was the first Diary of the Dead. Great. Survival of the Dead. Just watch my face.
yeah, we can agree that that's bad, but you do know the final Dead movie is coming, Twilight of the Dead.
Yep.
I'm happy. You know, I'm glad
Thanks.
that we actually on the ground. Because I put the thing just through the window just right now.
starring Kate Beckinsale.
Thank you, Lord.
Let's see.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? Who knows how it's going to end? But Twilight of the Dead is supposed to be the final Dead movie.
And it's
we-
Romero.
Romero was involved in it, but he died a few years ago. But yes, it's being made. It's one of the only Dead movies that is being made without George R. Romero.
Okay. But
Yeah.
it's his story, right?
It is, as far as I know, it is his story.
Okay.
The story that he had envisioned of the final Dead movie.
It was
Okay.
the vision for Day of the Dead, what he wanted with the final fight between undead and living.
He,
If I remember properly.
maybe, but he came up with other movies later. I mean, also,
Yeah, scenario for Day of the Dead, but he had not enough finance.
Yeah.
Okay, because the opening scene should not have been this dead city stuff, but a fight, a war between the extermination of the trial of extermination from the living upon there, and when the dead finally overrules the war.
yeah. Okay, could be. I don't know. We have. I would have to look into that.
I'll give him here. Look at it. But the thing we're speaking about a lot of there, a lot of good ideas, but misunderstanding of the current society.
Yeah.
So the criticism that we always have on the American society, because it's American society, was not when you need that old.
Yeah. I think my biggest problem, and it's just because of my background and my job, no matter what the zombie movie is, the military always does what the military wouldn't normally do. And that
Yeah.
bugs the shit out of me. Like, the military is automatically always doing the wrong thing, and that bugs me. But I'm
Yeah.
able to overlook it just for the sake of the movie, you know?
But one thing, but the only series that does that correctly is All of Us Are Dead. That is the first zombie show where the military, from beginning to end, does everything they should.
If you the point. Moment, for the short moment that we see them at the beginning from that summer, and they also do what they have to do.
Yeah, but then they revert to
It's 30 seconds.
for 30 seconds, but then they were back to military are fully packed with ammo, but somehow can't manage to shoot zombies.
But you know,
Right. That's the other thing that bugs me. It's like when zombies are around, they forget how weapons work, and I don't understand that. You know, it's like you have things at your disposal as you know, an infantryman that you always have on hand, no matter what military it is. And
Yeah.
if you use that weapon properly, there's no more zombies. But they never do. It's always like, I forgot how this thing works.
Yeah, I mean, God damn it! The worst example of that is 28 Weeks Later.
Yes, that movie does not exist to me. Not at all. That movie is terrible.
20 weeks later does exist for the introduction. The introduction scene.
Yes, yes,
This
yes.
is a movie,
yes.
but this introduction scene, got it.
Okay, yeah, it does exist. I would not. Yeah, it's just how the virus breaks out again is so stupid. It's I mean,
Yes.
it begins with them bringing the zombie back onto the site, and they're fully locked down. One fucking zombie is walking around on the base. You have an entire base full of soldiers, and every single soldier on that base forgets how a weapon works.
Yep. And how normal protocol works when you have an infectious disease. That bugs me more than anything, too, because we have whole volumes of books and training manuals on that shit, but apparently no fucking soldier in any of these movies has ever read it. I don't know.
Do you know that the French army trained on a zombie scenario?
Mhm.
Not expecting that zombies are coming, but as apocalyptic situation with tsunami or such like that, they decided to use zombies just for fun. But basically, how to handle the population, everything remains exactly the same.
Yeah.
And
It's just it bothers me because we've prepared for scenarios like this forever. Every NATO ally that we have has this exact same book or their own version of it, but every movie they forget about it. So I have a hard time with zombie movies just because of that.
Would you be so kind and give me the tornado part from your book? Because we recently had 2 big ones in France, so the past week, and it seems to be that we are not prepared to react.
You can find it online. It's FM999-4. You can get the whole technical readout of it online.
Okay.
But I'll bring it so you can check it out too sometime whenever I see you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I guess we should wrap this up. What are your final thoughts on the film, Mike?
Well, I thought it was actually great. It was a good movie. I liked it. Even though it's clearly, as the director intended to be the most uncomfortable one, I would say it is so far my least favorite entry.
Yeah.
In the Evil Dead series, but still, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, if you're a fan of Evil Dead, you should definitely go watch this.
Yeah, that's kind of where my feelings are too. It fits in with Evil Dead really well. It's in keeping with the first film to be uncomfortably gory and uncomfortable, so I'm fine with that. I think my biggest complaint about the film is that it was very light on story. Like, extremely light on story. It was more about shock than telling a decent story. But still a good movie. I liked it. It fits. No complaints, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Except for the dog death. I can do without that. Stop killing dogs in horror movies. Stop it.
And many thanks, guys. So thanks, honestly, for everything I've heard. I will watch this movie. Give me the will.
Yeah.
And I will let you know if I'm sick or not. And
If you got a weak
Yeah.
stomach, you're gonna be, because it was
Yeah.
tough watch, dude. It was a
Yeah,
tough
but Bruno more or less already said what movie he would like to come on as a guest again. Is when we do Land of the Dead.
Let's do
you
it,
know,
man.
one of the dead bodies walking. Where you gonna go?
Let's do it. Land of the Dead. You got it, dude.
Yeah.
We need to stick that one in the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for
The Canadian version and the Canadian version.
We'll figure that. We'll figure that one out.
Okay, Bruno. Hey, thanks for being with us, dude. Awesome.
Well, thanks, guy.
Yeah.
Just for something about me. So now, as we are just making this podcast, tomorrow it will be exactly 20 years that I'm living in Germany.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Congratulations, bro.
You know, it's a James sentence, 20 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We could talk about that for hours as well.
Yeah.
Are you still happy here?
I'm still there, so I guess so.
Okay. Okay.
I'm happy to live in this country.
Yeah.
No, no issue.
Well, we'll talk again in 10 years. See how you feel about it.
Oh, you know, if my partner knows me to drive it in there.
Okay. All right. So catch us for the next episode. I'm not sure what the next movie is, Mike, but it'll be a surprise for everybody.
yeah. We're gonna keep it a surprise this one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.
The blackest dies. The darkest dies.